Ready, set, go. Chelsea Burrell.
Hey.
What's going on?
Not a lot. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you taking the time out of your Friday holiday weekend
Right.
to come and chat with my man, Caleb McCoy, and myself about nutrition, health, wellness, maybe some recovery, whatever topics might come up.
And you're very well prepared, Chelsea.
I am very
Yes,
well
you
prepared.
are.
I tried very hard.
That's right.
I definitely want to preface this conversation by saying that I myself, and probably many people who are tuning in, are quite the novice when it comes to this particular topic. The nutrition and health and kind of exercise, all that stuff is somewhat new to me in my recovery process. Definitely influenced by this guy right here.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
That means a lot.
When I first decided to change my life, the majority of the work that I did was on my mind, right?
Yeah.
So I take I use Refuge Recovery, which is the foundation of mindfulness and meditation practice to kind of heal from recovery. And so for the first 2 years of living in long-term recovery, that's all I did.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't worry about what I eat. I didn't get outside and take care of my body. I didn't do any of that stuff. It was all up here.
Right.
All of the work was done up there. And then I met Caleb McCoy, and here we are.
Yeah.
So
Here we are.
I'm really just prefacing, all of this by stating that I might say something. I might totally butcher some stuff today. And so we're seeking information from you as far as what that.
This love he gives me, that's why he's in my wedding here soon. I was like, I gotta have her up. Yeah, he better show up too. That's another story, but
we can get there a little bit later
All
today.
right,
So, so Chelsea, we're here at Harris
Yeah.
Hospital,
We are.
and you work here. What do you do? What's going on? How did you end up being here where you are and getting asked by Caleb to come on the podcast and talk to us about these topics? What?
Yeah, so we are at Harris, and I'm very grateful that we are here. So my role is the Community Wellness Outreach Coordinator is my full title. I do anything and everything community facing. So I build and design and implement employee wellness programs for school systems, businesses, things of that nature. I also do different education sessions, health fairs, really and truly anything to do with health and wellness, priorities and stuff like that. And I also teach, so I do a little bit of that.
got all kinds of stuff going on, girl.
I do,
That's awesome.
I do, but I love it. I love to stay
Right.
busy. If I'm not busy, then I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
Idle hands kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Caleb asked me because we actually met this summer, so I asked him to come do a favor for me and the hospital to speak at what we called, I don't remember what we called it. It was the opioid panel discussion.
Yeah, Jackson County.
Yeah.
Yep.
The hospital was just trying to kind of have a say or bring attention to this discussion that people seem to not be having about the opioid epidemic in Western North Carolina. So we decided to have a panel of a couple of people, and Caleb just kind of fit right in. So I called him up and asked him to come and be a part, and he gracefully asked or agreed to come.
Mm-hmm.
And so ever since we've kind of been partnering in different things like that. He came and did the Swain one a couple weeks ago, which I'm grateful for. And so that's how we got here.
we graduated from the same high school.
Right.
So, yeah, you can tell that by how some of the things she says. So, state champion, right?
Yeah.
Well, how come you didn't throw that in there? I
Right.
mean, you come from a background of sports, you know what I mean? You've
I
always
do.
been in shape, so I think
Always.
it's-
That is not true, actually. That's
No?
a whole completely different story that actually got me to where I am. So, yeah, state champion 2008. We accomplished that as a group. I definitely didn't play a huge role, but played a small role in that.
What sport?
Volleyball.
Volleyball.
Yeah. Not always been in shape. Not true
No?
at all. No. No, I don't want anyone to have that misconception that I
Okay.
have always been in shape. So I went to undergrad. I went to NC State, moved to Raleigh, 5 hours away from home, and found out that the cafeteria food was disgusting. So the only thing that we had on campus was Taco Bell or this other disgusting sandwich place. So I gained probably well more than my freshman 15. And did not, so it was great. It was a great experience. And so then ended up kind of getting into, nutrition, physical activity after I graduated undergrad and got into my grad degree. So kind of had to lose all that. I probably lost at least 30, 40 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah. Not always been in shape. Nope.
Right. Okay.
Nope.
What I thought was interesting about you was when you submitted your little bio to us, you had original interest in like mental health and psychology and that sort of thing. And at some point in your life, your career path kind of shifted gears a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that and like how that came to life and what happened?
Yeah, most definitely. It's a very long path. So I got my degree in psychology, knew that's what I wanted to do, and then graduated from undergrad, was going to go to grad school, decided I wanted to do sport and exercise psychology. That was like my dream. I wanted to be a sports psychologist and do, originally I wanted to do eating disorders within athletics and things of that nature, mental health status within sports, because I do love sports so much. Got into grad school, kind of figured out, okay, yeah, this is the path I want to take, but I also started teaching health and wellness in grad school. So I actually started teaching physical activity classes while I was there. I actually taught weightlifting, taught some other things while I was there, fell in love with it, continued that. And then after grad school, I applied for PhD programs in counseling and psychology programs. Did interviews and decided that I interviewed, and the people that I was sitting at the table with, I had nothing in common with. They were all talking about things that I just was not interested in, and it turned out that I really didn't get into any of the PhD programs that I wanted to. And so that happened, and I kind of didn't know what to do. And also what happened was after I graduated, in my master's program, my mother got diagnosed with ovarian cancer. So I moved back home, kind of helped my dad take care of my mom while she was sick, going through treatment, things of that nature. And God just kind of led me. Honestly, it's really a God thing. Is that I took that off and then applied for a job at Western and got that job and fell in love with everything. So God told me that I wasn't supposed to do psychology at that time and kind of directed me. So that's really how I came into where I'm at.
And I think it's, we should note here that you come from a background of educators, right?
I do. My father's an educator. My whole family's really in education. My mother's not, but yeah.
Right. What does your dad do?
My dad used to teach, so he was in the classroom for 20, 25 years, and now he works at the central office.
I remember old Toby.
Yeah.
I'm sure he remembers you too.
Yeah, not in a good way, probably.
I'm sure he does. You mentioned like the kind of well, first of all, let me ask you, how did you end up out at NC State and not like stick around and being a local girl? Like,
no, that was never my dream or my goal.
yeah.
I wanted to go somewhere. I was very adamant about going somewhere. I applied to a bunch of different places and got into a bunch of different places. I actually wanted to go to Carolina and toured all those places and got waitlisted at Carolina. And so that was very defeating for me. And then I was kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with all the places that I got into, did tours, like I said, and toured NC State, told my mom. I literally remember having this conversation with my mom saying, Mom, there aren't any fat people on this campus. Like, how it's so big that everybody's walking everywhere. You walk miles and miles to get to campus. And I just remember waking up one morning having no idea, but I woke up one morning and it was like God put it on my heart that I needed to go to State. And so that's what I did. I think my mom told me that my dad cried in the bathroom the morning that I said that I was going to state.
Oh, because you was moving away?
Yeah, my mom said she picked the farthest school. Like, why did she pick the farthest school? So, and it worked out perfectly, honestly. I couldn't have made a better decision on that. Love Raleigh, love NC State, go Wolfpack.
The next time you're down there,
Yeah.
have you ever heard of Runology?
No.
It's a running group down there. I ran whenever I was doing my recovery coach training.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing running group. They have about 50 or 60 people show up a couple times a week.
Really?
Yeah, and I got to run on the campus down there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah,
It is
I
a
got
very
some
pretty
pictures.
campus.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's a unique campus.
Mm-hmm.
Most people complain because it's all brick, but you have to appreciate.
Right. I loved
What's
it. And that
there?
was the first time I'd been down there since I actually competed in the state championship track meet. So being able to go
Look
back
at you,
down there.
look at
and-
you.
I know,
son.
right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Dang, man.
Runology, you have to check it out.
We don't go to Raleigh much, but when I do, I'll have to check it out.
So a large part in like why we kind of invited you out here is just to kind of really like dial in and kind of, I don't know, there's just so many voices out there,
Mhm.
right? And so many people are pitching something
Mm-hmm.
Right.
when it comes to nutrition. Everybody's got the
The
next
yeah.
greatest
Oh, yeah.
thing, right? Like, and it's hard to not like fall into these kind of, I don't want to say traps, but it's hard to not to like to sift through what
Mm-hmm.
is legitimate and what could
Right.
might not be. And also I think that like, you know, in talking with many folks who, you know, live a healthy lifestyle, I think it also is like somewhat of a unique aspect to every individual's life. Like what
Right.
works for Caleb McCoy might not work for Rob on the radio. And so like, you know, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is like, how does somebody discover, like, what is that process like? Like what is the best way for somebody to kind of like dial in and find out what works for them?
Mm-hmm.
Like, does somebody need to go and have some blood work done and kind of like look at their levels of like what, I don't know, like where do you start, I guess, is like
Mhm.
a big part of, because I'm interested in like starting. You
I
know?
like it. I like it. I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
No, you're completely right. Everybody's different, and what works, like you said, what works for Caleb does not work for you or for me. So
Mhm.
I'm not going to go out and run 20 miles. That's not my MO. Much like Caleb's MO.
Today you're not
Today.
going to do that.
No, never.
That's right.
I'm never going to go out and run 20 miles. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. It's not going to happen. But I do think that, I don't know if blood work is the answer unless you feel like maybe you have some sort of genetic component like diabetes or things of that nature.
Why did you I don't mean to interrupt
No,
you
you're
just for a second. Why did you say that?
Just
But,
to,
like,
I don't know.
get
I've just heard, you know,
right.
that-
I've heard of that too. That's why I
to
was
know
asking.
like what type of like vitamins and vitamin deficiencies and things like that, like kind of like where to place your focus at for optimal performance, I
Mhm.
guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard that from multiple sources.
Yeah, I have too. I mean, go ahead. Sorry, Chelsea.
No, you're fine. I love listening to you guys. So, no, I'm not sure blood work. I've not heard that before. I think that would just be an extra step that you could take if you wanted to. I don't think that's a necessary step. Like I said, unless you feel like you have some sort of illness or vitamin deficiency that you feel like you need to kind of get that looked at. I feel like someone once told me that we know what's best for our bodies. Nobody knows you more than you know yourself. And so I think that that's true of you don't necessarily need somebody to tell you what you probably already know, if that makes sense. Not that I'm saying don't go, but I do think the perfect way to start is just to kind of figure out what your end goal is in mind.
That's right.
And I tell that people that all the time of don't just start to start, have an end goal in mind. If your end goal is to run a marathon, then obviously your starting point would be walking and then running.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to lose weight, figure out what works best for you. Cutting out food doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. So that's not for me. But if it works for somebody else to say, nope, I can't do carbs, then more power to you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what we get lost in the world today is that there's not a one size fits all, and that one diet or one exercise plan doesn't work for every single person. And starting that journey is just really kind of figuring out what works for you and trying something new, because you're never going to learn or achieve anything if you don't step outside of your comfort zone. So starting that journey and just kind of picking where you want to start, whether it's with diet, exercise, meditation, what's feasible for you. I don't know if I directly answered your question.
You did,
or
you did.
not.
And like, I know in my own experience that like, I think that some sort of accountability, whether it's like through like a husband or a wife or a boyfriend or girlfriend or mother, parent, whoever that is, to like kind of have that accountability. Because like I'm the type of person that like I tend to eat healthy. Like when I go grocery shopping, I tend to buy and eat a lot of healthy foods. But my problem is that like I go to work and there's a dozen donuts sitting over there
Oh,
right,
man.
in the break room, right? And then I'm just like, next thing I know, I ate like 3 of them, you know, or like, so it's like, and I wouldn't call it like stress eating, but I would just call it like, I definitely can see like a craving for like those sugars and carbs and things like that. But like, but when I'm at home and I'm cooking a meal, I'm eating like quinoa and rice and fresh vegetables and maybe a little bit of chicken or fish, but not even a whole lot of meat, just a small portions of that. But like when the temptation is there, I always take it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you had a bowl of like some candy over there, or if you had some like Christmas cookies sitting over here,
They'd be smashed.
they'd be smashed. I'd hit the mute button right here on this board, and I'd be like, all right, y'all got this, and I'd be smashing Christmas cookies. So like I struggle with like, I guess like that accountability, holding myself accountable, like when I'm out on the go.
Yeah.
And like, dude, you're busy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're all over the place. Like, we tend to like eat on the go, right?
Yeah.
Like I eat one meal a day at home. That's usually dinner. And even then it's probably 4 to 5 nights a week. I eat one meal a day at home. The rest is on the go. So I'm rolling around with a bag of fruit and nuts and granola bars and things like that. But if the temptation is there, I take it.
Right.
So like, how do I like train myself to like,
I wonder how much of that is, you know, your brain and our addictive personalities. You know, we got to have that because we get high off that stuff. You know,
a lot of it is that, because
Right.
like there's been times at work, like, I mean, I work retail. It's like high pace, always on your feet. You don't really like sit down and have a lunch break. But so there's always like snack foods and things like that around. And there's been times where like, okay, I was like experiment with a certain kind of diet a few months ago. I did a 30-day little diet thing. You remember?
carnivore.
Yeah.
Did you?
And so
Did you? Is that what it was?
yeah, 30 days. And
Yeah.
so in doing that, like there was a couple days where like I could not resist the temptation to eat the snacks in the break room at work. Like I physically, it was like a drug. Like it really was. Like I'm in tune with like my body, and like through my meditation, I've learned to like pay attention to like physical sensations and cravings and things like that. And there was a time where like, it was like, I would compare it to quitting smoking cigarettes. When I quit smoking cigarettes, that craving, it was so strong that I like literally almost could not physically stop myself from eating a donut, right, in the break room. So like, I don't know. What do you do? How do you do it? How do you encourage and support? And
I think, I mean, the best answer to that, because it's hard to tell somebody don't do that. Like you there's no way that you can do that, because then if they fail, then they just get that like shameful, like, you know, I'm just going to keep eating. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So I think just having those healthy alternatives, I know that's what helps me. Like, you know, pick up a banana instead of a cookie or something. You know, do something like that. Try to find something. It's got a lot of healthy got sugars in it, anyways. But
Well, no, I mean, I'm glad that you bring that up, because there's a very big misconception that, and I've been asked multiple times, especially people with diabetes, that well, fruit sugar. So what's the difference between me eating a banana and what's the difference between me eating a cookie?
Let's do this,
Because
yeah.
it's sugar. And those are completely separate things. Sugar, sugar is sugar, but there's multiple different types of sugar. And so fruit has what's called fructose in it. And the natural fructose provides you things that candy, cookies, cake can't provide you.
Okay.
So fructose and fruits have fiber, vitamins, everything else. So when you eat that fruit, the fiber keeps you full longer versus the cookie, which is quick energy that you're going to probably want more sugar once that sugar wears off.
Right.
So eat
this
as
is
much,
good.
eat
This
as
is
much
good.
fruit as you want. I mean, there's not anywhere in there, any research is going to say eat as much fruit as you want. There's no limit to the sugar that you can have with fruit.
Did you hear that, everybody? Don't be picking up no Christmas cookies. Get you some fruit.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I had recently had somebody at school say something to me about I like was rolling into class a few minutes late and I was starving and all I had was my little go-to bag that I carry around and all I had left in there was bananas and I like crushed like 4 bananas in a row and it was one of my instructors. She was like, I can't believe that you would eat that much sugar in like one
gosh.
sitting, and I was just like, that's all I got and I needed some energy and
my
I'm starving. Like,
gosh.
what
Try
do
to
you,
make you feel
yeah,
bad.
it's like shaming me for eating bananas.
What the
I was
heck?
like,
Oh my god.
how dare you?
Yeah, I eat so many bananas
Yeah.
a day. We have 2 things of bananas sitting in our house right now, and I mean,
And I probably don't eat enough as much as I'm doing and training and stuff. And because of that, I had that misconception like, I don't need that. It's going to go to my love handles. And like, for real.
no,
My love handles.
my love handles. No, and I mean, different fruits have different purposes. So some fruits have antioxidants. Like if you eat strawberries and blueberries, they help you from getting sick. And bananas are good for potassium. There's so many different
else?
things.
Go ahead and throw out some more.
Oh
there.
gosh.
Apples and oranges. What's that?
Apples and oranges. Apples tend to have a lot more fiber, so they're really good for fiber. Oranges are vitamin C, so grapefruit and oranges are good for vitamin C, things of that nature. So, I mean, those things really, eat as many bananas as you want.
Thank you,
but I
Tiffany.
think that I'm saying that because I eat a lot of bananas, so I'm not going to shame you whenever I do
Right.
it too. So, no shame in that.
That's good to know because I was
Yeah,
like,
it
I was
is.
just like that day. I was just like, oh man, I don't know. Like again, I tend to try to eat pretty healthy. Like I don't like I really try not to like overconsume, and I really try to like not like indulge in those things. And it happens every now and then, but not one of the things that I'd heard a couple weeks ago on a podcast, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. There was a professor from some university, and he was talking about nutrition, and he said like a good general kind of rule of thumb, specifically for the novice like myself, is to try to eat across the color spectrum, right? Because like foods with colors, bright, vivid kind of colors in them tend to have a broader array of like nutrients and vitamins and things like that. So he's like, if you can eat as many colors across the color spectrum in one day,
Like what?
like yellow bananas, red apples, green or orange carrots, like just eat a little bit of each color.
Yeah.
Green.
So that's why you got
peppers.
carrots and
You see, I got carrots in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
But-
he was saying to like try to do that for somebody that's not on like one of these specific like keto diets, or somebody that's
Right.
not on one of these specific guideline diets, just for the average lay person rolling through life, like try to eat across those color patterns, color spectrums.
I had to do little research myself the other day because Caitlin and I are always traveling and stuff. Always on the road, and so we catch ourselves a lot of times stopping in gas stations.
Right.
So I was on there like, what's the healthy, if there is such a thing, what's the healthiest thing I can get in a gas station? And so I've come to the conclusion of just getting a banana and a piece of beef jerky.
Oh.
Stay away from everything else because there's nothing else in there really that's going to really benefit me.
Well, even like the beef jerky, like when I was doing that carnivore thing, I was, yeah, dude.
He didn't want. So this is funny. He wanted to keep it secret, right? Because he thought we was gonna have PETA knocking on the door,
my
having a
gosh.
picket liners.
We're recording over at Western, so yeah, we can just go ahead and go there now. It's
We're
like,
there.
yeah, you know, I was hearing a lot about this from a lot of different like professors and people that I listen to on podcasts and stuff, and it's more like for specific issues like autoimmune disorders and things like that. Like they've found benefits in this like carnivore thing. So I was like, you know, just like anything else, like
Try it.
I was suggested to try it for like 30 days, right? So you literally eat nothing but meat, salt, and water for 30 days. Nothing else.
Meat, salt.
You can salt your meat. That's
That
it.
sounds horrible.
Yeah.
that sounds
That
tough.
sounds like a really bad diet.
Yeah. And so I did it for like the 30 days. And like me and Caleb were talking about it like on the side of the podcast because I didn't know how like people
would
respond
react
to that. Yeah. And I did not end up sticking with it for obvious reasons.
Right.
It's a lot of work. Like I was talking about eating on the go all the time. It's not like I can like carry a steak in my back pocket.
You can't?
Yeah.
What?
Should put in your
you
hip
know,
pocket there.
pre-cooking food and stuff like that. It just wasn't conducive to like my lifestyle, and I didn't really notice like drastic benefits to my physical for obvious reasons.
I would
think.
imagine so.
But like those that have these issues, like it, you know, there's a lot of people out there that have these specific like issues that it seems to be very beneficial to it. So where was I going with that?
I was about
Why
to say,
was
where were we headed? I don't remember.
I was going to do something too. Oh yeah, and I mean just this time of year is so like crucial to people because everybody's just forms this perception in their mind and they're just like, it's the holidays. I'm going to eat what I want and then I'll get back here. You know.
Yeah, New Year's resolution.
You're right, and why? I mean, it doesn't have to be that way. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, so I mean, I just hear a lot of people talking about that, and it's just you know, in recovery. It's called the holidays are known as the Bermuda Triangle.
Right.
So we got, and then on the reservation we got Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and per cap.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that is. That's 4 things though. But anyways, and I just see so many people like in class sitting there talking. They're like, "Oh, I went to 8 Thanksgiving dinners," and I'm like, "What are you talking?" Like, I mean, you know, it's more. It should be more than just I might get stoned for this, but just getting off of substances. Like you need to take a holistic approach. You need to take your. I mean, because so many people come in recovery, and then they start down this pathway of just eating Christmas cookies and everything. Next thing you know, they're diabetic, or they're smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. You know what I mean? So it's coming up with healthy replacements in those outlets.
When I first got into recovery, I had no intentions on like that aspect of changing that aspect of my life.
Right.
Like, when I was in the treatment center, like they would take us to Walmart on Saturdays, and it was like our only day of the week that we'd get out, you know, in the general public, and like I would just load up on like Twinkies and like I mean, you name it, dude. And what happened was while I was in there, one of my buddies that was with me, he was eating like granola and yogurt for breakfast. Like we weren't going down to the cafeteria and eating what they were providing. We had a little mini fridge and we were allowed to like get our own food. And he was like, "Yeah, try some of this yogurt and granola and stuff." And like, it was damn good.
Yeah.
You know? So like, I was like, all right, I'll start with like baby steps and these little things, changing little things in my life. And then I noticed like, somewhat of a significant difference in the way that I was feeling, having like gone through detox and like my body like physically changing after years of abuse, right? But there was no intention at the beginning.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's ever the intention. I think you have one goal in mind, right? And that's detox and recovery, and you're not really thinking about, well, what should I eat? I don't think that's the logical thing to think, but really and truly and it goes for anybody, not just people in recovery, but what we put in our body really has a big effect on everything. Energy level, mental health, anything and everything you can think of. You know, if you put crap in your body, you're going to feel like crap.
I hope there's some people out there. I'm thinking all kinds of people that need to be listening to this.
Yeah, but really and truly, I mean,
we all do. I mean,
yes.
I'm teachable. I'm trying to soak it all in. I'm trying to take it all in here.
Yeah, because I mean, I know for myself, and it doesn't happen very often, but if I do eat fast food or, fried chicken or whatever it is, I automatically feel fried chicken. Like
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken. That's
I'm
it.
thinking fast food Big Mac. That's my thing right there.
Really? Mine's
Yes.
Bojangles. It's just,
I do love the buffalo bites, the
No.
roasted chicken bites.
I just do the little chicken tenders.
Hey, we're talking about nutrition, man.
Yeah, like
Come on.
scratch all of that, everybody that's listening.
Tighten
Don't
up,
pay,
Caleb.
don't pay any attention. But whenever I do eat stuff like that, or I eat, cake, or I just feel gross. Like I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
feel good, and I don't feel very energetic, and I feel lethargic. And so, I mean, it's a big difference whenever you put something in your body that one, you feel good about yourself. You're like,
Mhm.
I just ate a really healthy meal. And then afterwards, you don't feel sluggish. You feel like you can do what you need to do, everything of that nature. So it's just as important.
When Caitlin and I first started dating, and several times I got up and I would sneak in to the kitchen. And the next morning, she'd be asleep, right? The next morning, it goes back to like just feeling bad. I see her the next, she'd wake up and I'm like, I got to tell you something. She's like, what? I said, I snuck in there last night and ate some milk and cookies. But I mean, I just felt
Yeah.
like, I felt bad about it. Oh no. Which isn't a bad thing, you know what I
No.
mean? Like to just want to hold myself accountable to
Right,
eating healthy.
exactly.
And anyways,
Exactly.
In the day and age, right? This is kind of something that's just so ironic. In the day and age where, obesity, just like addiction, it doesn't discriminate. But in the day and age where, people who live below the poverty line
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah,
tend to be more obese.
Right.
Right? So like I think that I would like to ask you, is it truth or is it a myth that like is it not affordable to eat healthy? Cuz like I hear it all the time like when you have these conversations with people, but me being a single man that lives alone that doesn't make, I work for damn near minimum wage part-time, right? So like I can't afford to spend hundreds of dollars at the grocery store every week, but I can afford to eat healthy, right? I can go to the grocery store and spend $50 and have it last me 3 or 4 days
Right.
if you do it the right way. So like but that's just me, a single man by myself. When you add in like partners,
2 or 3 kids.
2 or 3 kids
Yeah.
that are clean, eat out of house, like is it affordable for the average household to eat a simply healthy lifestyle or diet?
I'm sure you've done a lot of papers on this or something, haven't you?
I haven't written papers on this specifically, but we have many of conversations, about that. So interesting fun fact for you. We have found that more people who make more money tend to eat fast food more. So it's not necessarily people in low
Why?
income. I have no idea. I don't
Convenience.
Yeah, I don't know
okay.
why, but we did find that statistic, and I looked at it and I kind of tilted my head and was like, "That's not what I would have anticipated." But we do find that to be true of people who kind of make more money tend to eat fast food more. But nonetheless, I do think it's feasible. I had one of my colleagues, Trish Hipgrave. I don't know if you've met her. She works for the Swain Health Department. She's the public health educator there. She teaches at Western also, and for her class project this semester, she gave them the project that they had to go to the grocery store, and I think she gave them like $10 to $15 to spend at the grocery store, and they had to come out with a healthy meal. And so,
Oh, that's good.
right? And so she's awesome. And then what they did was they donated that food that they bought back to a shelter. So they had healthy food there. So, I mean, it's definitely possible.
What was they getting? What kind of stuff was they getting?
I didn't ask her, so I don't want to misquote.
What would you have got?
What would I have gotten?
$10 or $15.
To me, $15 is a lot for a meal.
Yeah.
To eat a healthy meal, dude. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think it just depends on the person. I think it's very feasible if you meal prep. Meal prep is so important before you go to the grocery store. and not being hungry before you go to the grocery store.
Right.
If you're like me and you're hungry and you go to the grocery store, you're grabbing every single thing. Like, oh, I'll eat that. I'll eat that.
Kind of like I was trying to do in the cafeteria.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly.
What I've learned is to like plan that process.
Yes.
Like have a grocery list, and
Yes.
even have a plan of like what I'm going to prepare with this food.
Exactly.
Like, okay, this is the recipe I'm going to use, and I need blank, blank, blank,
Right.
and blank, and I add it to my shopping list, and then I roll in the store and I get those
Right.
items.
Right.
So what about somebody, like I said, Caitlin and I have yet to cook a meal in our house.
What are you waiting for, man?
Well, I mean, honestly, shout out Matt Bryant. Hey, we get our meals from Matt a lot of
You can
times.
Yeah,
you
Mad
can
Meals.
you can
Yeah.
drop your orders at
At
Mad Meal
Mad Meal
Preps.
Preps, yep, on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, trying to give you some love. I seen him share the.
We'd like to get him on the show too.
Yeah, he'll be
soon.
coming up soon. But yeah, I mean, just like some tips for people that's always on the go.
Yeah.
Like, do you got anything?
Well, I'm
listening.
always
I
on the
need it.
go. So I hear that. Again, I would just reiterate meal prep. Just like you said, the Mad Meals are perfect. You already know what you have planned.
Well, you seen me coming here?
Yeah, you had it already. So that's
Right.
perfect. If you have it in your container, you have what you need for that meal. You bring it with you. You know if you can heat it up or not. Like you
Mhm.
knew you were coming to the hospital, so you could heat it up. And that's what I do with most of my meals is I try and plan, okay, well, I'm going to get X, Y, and Z, like you said, because I know I want to make grilled chicken and quinoa and asparagus, whatever it may be.
That sounds good.
And so then you kind of portion it out too. If you live by yourself or you live with somebody else, you portion it out for each meal until you have multiple of each thing. But I do think what you did today is just bring,
Those tacos were from Matt.
Matt, yeah.
Were they?
And I didn't eat the bread. Yeah. Try not to go to my love handles.
You didn't eat the tortilla?
You want it? Get out of the trash can for you.
Oh my God.
Dana's listening right now. Dana,
she?
love you guys. Thank you for always supporting us and everything.
One of the things that like, in doing these meal preps, like that's you have to like, in order for somebody to like commit to doing something like that, they have to like understand the like not risk or reward, but like what is the outcome
Right.
for their time is so valuable. Like how many hours a week do you spend meal prepping for, say, your Monday through Friday shifts at the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and then like for the single mother of three, how does she like figure that into like her routine? Because like we know how difficult it is to start new routines, right?
Right.
Like just the exercise and just the yoga, committing to this change, especially when you might not like, you don't see instant results. We live in a society that looks for instant gratification, right? And like, you don't see the weight on your body until you have had like 77 Whoppers in a year. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you don't see it. It doesn't hit you that day. And it's the
Yeah.
same thing with losing the weight. And it's the same you don't see what's going on inside of your body, how hard your heart is working and how your arteries are filling up, clogging up. Like you don't physically see that.
Right.
You don't, a lot of people, healthcare is an issue in this country. So like a lot of people can't afford to go to the doctor. So they don't even know that they have something wrong until it's too late,
Yeah.
right? Until you get that diagnosis, or you have
Right.
that heart attack, or you get diagnosed with diabetes, whatever the case is. Like people don't know that they have an issue. So like, how do you justify to somebody that is, uneducated in these topics, right? Like
Yeah.
when I was in school, like there was something that was kind of like talked about often, but it's hard. Like I think in this society that we live in today, like it's difficult. There's a little bit of a disconnect, and like it's hard to like incorporate that to like everybody.
Right. And so listening to you talk, all I can think about is I have to give a plug to my employee wellness programs, because number one, every program that we run or I run here, we do assessments before we start. So I do not a full blood panel, but they do get their glucose, cholesterol, and we talk about things like that. So if their glucose is high, then I say, okay, I can't check your A1C, but here's someone who can. So that way, at least it's a free screening for them, and they know, like, okay, I'm not in the healthy range. I do need to go see my doctor before it is too late, like what you're saying. And so that assessment starts the program, and then the program we continue, and we do sessions like this. So in the upcoming program that I have this year in 2019, we're actually going to do a meal prep class. So we're going to do stuff like that, and we did a class on sugar as a drug. Really anything and everything. Yeah, I mean, really anything and everything you can think of health and wellness wise, I try and educate, because it's like what you're saying. I mean,
awesome.
if you don't know, then you don't know any different.
Right.
And so if more people know about it, then maybe they can make those changes. And what I also work with them on is goal setting, like you and I were talking about earlier, of end in mind of what's your goal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, great. Whenever I was teaching, students would have goals. Okay, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose X, Y, and Z. Fabulous. How are you going to do that? And so what I do with them is they have to fill out a worksheet with me, and we go step by step of, okay, who's holding you accountable, number one. Number two, what's your baby goals? So I always say, yeah, like your mini goals. So my main goal would be, okay, let's lose 10 pounds. Once a week. And then, kind of having those stepping stone markers and judging how I'm going to meet that goal. And so I think what you're saying is the same thing of trying to figure out, goal setting, working towards that goal, and having those educational pieces, and it brings everything together.
Don't you give them incentives as well?
Some programs we do. We do give them incentives, and we hope that employers give them incentives. But in my mind, your health should be your number one incentive. So,
well, somebody that's just now coming into it, a lot of times you got to have something there.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. Research shows that from the get-go, if you provide them an incentive, they're going to do it.
I do some personal training. I was sharing with y'all this morning about how I like to switch it up, and I just had an idea the other day that it's cool for me to come in, have some, workout plan for the people I train and everything, but I like to keep it mixed up a little bit. And so I gave them an opportunity, one of them opportunity to train me this morning. Yeah, it was tough.
So I saw a video from this morning of you doing some
double push-up
jump rope.
Oh,
jumping rope. Getting mad, getting frustrated.
What? Where's that at?
You didn't see it?
No.
Somebody had some video of you getting frustrated trying to doing your jump rope or something.
That's
you know
funny.
what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't seen that.
That's funny.
That wasn't supposed to be out there.
No, I think that it was awesome because it shows that the man is human.
Exactly,
You know what I'm
he's human.
saying? Yeah, the man is human.
It was, just to mix it up though, and to keep them encouraged, give them an opportunity to.
Exactly.
These programs that you speak of,
Yes.
Chelsea, they are offered to, what is it?
Anyone.
Anybody in our community, or
Well, so the way the programs work, and when I'm trying to expand now, we have programs in Jackson, Swain, and Graham school systems. We also have programs in Swain County, like the Swain County employees and Graham County employees. The hospital employees are part of the program. And a few other businesses are a part. The program looks different for everybody, but I implore anybody and everybody to kind of reach out if they have any questions or want to be a part of a program or start a program, because that's really what my job is about.
I guess that's where I was going at, is like, where would they go to reach out?
It would be me. And we can post my email on the site after we're done here, or my phone. Either way.
Oh, we will do that.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do that. Another thing that, like, me being somebody that's not like physically fit, the physically fittest person on the planet yet.
This is Rob Goggins over here.
That's right. I've been ask Bianca, man. I've been crushing this yoga, dude.
Have you?
Do you remember the podcast with Jake the Snake?
Yeah.
You listened to it?
Yep.
So I got the DDP yoga.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah, and I've been doing it for 2 weeks now, every day, up to like about 45 minutes every day.
And it's not your typical.
It's not regular yoga.
Yeah.
It's like core strength and conditioning, like resistance training.
You be hollering and screaming and everything, right?
All kinds of stuff, dude. Yeah, we need to get together and do it. I bought it. I paid for it. So,
I need some yoga in my life.
It's
so
solid.
Stiff.
But me being the person that wasn't really like super into that kind of stuff, what really got me interested in this topic and like having this conversation today, like on a personal level, was the relationship with what we eat in our cognitive performance.
Yeah.
Right. It's not something that, like, when you think about nutrition and you think about diet and the foods that we consume, you tend to think about the physical aspects of that. And you don't hear a lot about like the cognitive relationship to it. So me being a college student, I don't like get to one of my hobbies, you know, in recovery is I enjoy reading, right?
Yeah.
I like did not take care of myself for so long that I'm trying to like absorb as much knowledge and information as I can. So I like to read from like a variety of like spectrums of information. But being a full-time college student, working a job, doing all this, during the semester, I don't have a lot of time to do that, right? So what I tend to do is like collect books. And then when, I'm sure you know, being a former student, but I tend to collect books throughout the semester, and then when I have a little bit of break, just like bust through them. But one of the things that I discovered last semester, I talked about it somewhere, is an app called Blinkist. And what it is it's kind of like a Cliff Notes deal. So you can either read or listen to the audio book in 15 minutes. So they give you all the high spots for the entire book in 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. But like for
what are you thinking, Chelsea?
That is today's society, right there.
It totally
for you.
is. It totally is today's society. But for somebody like me, like, it was perfect. So like what I would do, I set a goal. I'm going to listen to one every single day, right? And then if I enjoy the book, it goes on my wish list.
There
and
you
then
go.
when the semester's over, I'll go back and read it. So what got me going on this is one of the books that I came across that was just fabulous was called Genius Foods. And it was all about the cognitive performance and relationship to the foods that we consume and the way that our brain works, and the function of our brain. And so with that being said, like I don't know, wanted to like maybe pick your brain if are you on any of that? Yeah, is that anything on your radar? Is like the stuff that you guys do mostly like?
I mean, I think that's always a part of the conversation for me, anyways, of nutrition. For me, health is all-encompassing and all-focusing, and nutrition is the same way. What you put in your body is going to affect you physically as well as mentally and emotionally. And so, I mean, I don't want to say I'm well-versed or an expert in cognitive performance and nutrition, but I definitely have been reading and have been kind of following up with things of that nature, so.
What is your, just for everybody out there listening, your degrees in?
He loves to ask me this question. He really does. He loves to ask me. So I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. I have a master's degree in sport and exercise psychology. I'm a certified health coach, and I'm currently getting my PhD in health and human performance.
And you're doing that at Chicago?
Yeah.
That's awesome, Chelsea.
Thank
That's
you.
Amazing stuff.
Heck yeah. And teaching.
Yes.
And teaching, right?
Yes.
What do you get any kind of like in like sharing this information with students, or is there any kind of resistance from them, and like what kind of creative ways do you overcome that?
That's what I was wanting to know, because this is like you're coming in. It's like they're comfortable. Like, I don't want you telling me. I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, so how do you balance that out? How do you go and talk to people about health and wellness and nutrition and stuff? Is that what you was asking?
Like
Rob?
my students or
yeah.
participants?
Just anybody, yeah.
Anybody. It just depends, honestly. I think that I see success, and I think that anybody would see success whenever you build a relationship. And so anytime that I'm teaching or anytime that I'm doing these programs, I never want anyone to think that I know more than they do, or that because again, like I said in the beginning, they are the expert in their own body, and they know themselves more than I do. And so I always try and kind of make them feel comfortable and let them know that I'm just here to support. I'm not here to say, you're doing this wrong, you need to do this, you need to do that. I think usually my first question is always, what's your goal? How can I help? That's what I'm here for, is to help. And so that's usually how I approach people, is just, how can I help?
That's the same thing with recovery. I mean, you can't go in and say what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing,
Yeah.
meeting people where they're at.
Exactly.
The same thing with you when you're working with a new client in the
Yeah.
Right.
gym, right?
Yep. And I realize I've been going too easy on them now.
Yeah.
Wait till I show you this video. You trying to jump rope?
Mate, where
I'm
did you-
looking forward to seeing this video.
I went to go find it, and then I got distracted with this conversation. Yeah, so I don't know. What does your diet look like at home?
Oh God, you had to ask.
Gotta live it, right?
Yeah, and I really do. I try to practice what I preach genuinely. If I'm going to tell somebody that they should probably do that, then I'm not going to ask them to do anything I wouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and say that I don't eat cookies and I don't indulge in different things.
How often, though?
It just depends. Honestly, it really just depends on what my week's been like. And
I turned the volume down. He's like, "Dang it,
What is going on?
what's going on, man?
Where is that?
It's at the gym."
yeah,
I mean, where's that at?
like in your
Facebook?
workout.
Is it really?
Sorry, y'all. We're having to pause to watch Caleb's jump rope. You're like swinging that thing around. You're mad.
My goodness. Okay. Anyways.
He's human.
He's human. Yeah,
human, y'all.
exactly. He's human.
When we post the podcast, we'll go ahead and post this video.
Yeah, attach it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But no, my diet, I mean, I'm human too. And so I'm not ever going to say that I have a perfect diet, that I meal prep every single week, that I do all of these things, because that would be a lie.
Mhm.
So my diet just looks different based upon what my week looks like, how busy I am, how much physical activity I can get in, things of that nature. I'll be honest, the more active I am, the more lenient I am with myself about what I can eat. Like you on your race days, if I have a really big gym day, then I'll eat a waffle for breakfast and not feel bad about it.
Dang.
So, well, to be
I'm just
fair, it's a
joking.
protein waffle. So let's not
What
get
does that
too
look
wild.
like?
So I usually buy like the Kodiak cakes. It's the mix in Ingles. And
Have
it's
you heard of that?
protein.
Oh,
I haven't
I
eaten
need
it.
some of
Yeah,
that. Ingles has it?
yeah, it's pretty. I mean, I won't lie, it's expensive, but it's really good. And they have different ones, like you can do oats or dark chocolate or whatever it is. But so my diet, usually I don't eat a lot of red meat. You can
Why?
ask anybody. I don't. It's a personal choice. It's not like I'm in PETA or anything like that. It
Do
hurts
you
my
have some
stomach.
data though on that of like red meat and the benefits, or
Yeah, no, I mean, red meat, anybody with heart disease or heart conditions shouldn't be eating a lot of red meat. Typically, red meat has a lot of salt in it because they have to cure that meat. So it's hard on your heart. It's harder to digest. It has higher fat content. It's not a lean meat. So that's why I don't eat a lot of red meat. If I do eat red meat, it's usually steak, honestly. And steak tends to be a little bit more lean, depending upon what steak you buy. So I usually do a lot of lean meat. I'll do chicken, turkey, fish. And that's usually what my diet looks like. It just depends. I'm not afraid of carbs. I'll just go ahead and say that right now. People are so terrified of carbs, but I am not.
love handles,
Love handles.
Bailey.
No. So good carbs, you need good carbs to
Right.
survive, especially with how much you work out and how much I work out. So with carbs, they actually provide you energy because they get produced into sugar, but a good kind of sugar. So
So what's some good carbs?
How do
that
you get good
suggest?
carbs?
yeah. No, perfect question. So good carbs would be like whole wheat. Fruits and vegetables are considered carbs most of the time because they have fiber and sugar in them. Beans are a type of carb and protein. So think whole foods. Just think whole foods. The bad carbs would be your white bread, your candy,
Pasta.
cookies. I'm not afraid of pasta either, honestly. I'll eat a little bit of pasta every now and then. I usually will eat whole wheat pasta, or what I'll do is I'll make zoodles. You can spiralize zucchini and turn them into the noodles, or like butternut squash. things of that.
Zoodles?
Yeah, I call them
Zoodles.
zoodles.
You can eat a lot of like if we had a health food store around here,
Yeah.
you could buy it already.
Yeah.
We've been kicking around that idea, Caitlin and I, about getting a green grocery store in Cherokee.
Oh yeah.
Because I think it'd be centrally located. Because a lot of people go to, from Nantahala have to go to Asheville,
Yeah.
right? Silva, Bryson.
Mhm.
I think that'd be just an idea.
Yeah.
We've been talking about that for a while, though.
The Ingalls has that though. That's
Do
how
they?
in Bryson City anyways, they
Really?
have that. Yeah. They have a really good fresh market section, honestly, cuz that's how I got turned on to butter squash noodle. I can't even talk. Butternut squash noodles or zucchini noodles. Zoodles, yes. I don't think that's what they're called. I think they just call them zucchini noodles or I don't know what they call them. But that's usually what I'll do for
Pasta.
yeah.
Okay.
Or whole wheat pasta. I've gotten onto spinach and artichoke ravioli recently, which
That
is
sounds
yummy. It's delicious.
Yeah.
It's already prepackaged though, is my only issue with it, and I wish I could figure out how to make it myself without it being super time consuming. But I have a feeling making your own pasta would be ridiculously time consuming.
Yeah.
So
At Trader Joe's has it like already fresh and
Yeah.
like a bunch of different kinds. It's just amazing.
Yeah. But don't be afraid of carbs was really what I was getting at, because good carbs are good for you.
Good carbs.
Yes, not
especially
bad carbs.
if you're doing things like exercise. Or
Yes.
regularly.
You
I
have to
guess
have it.
my thing is like, I don't think that when I do eat carbs, I try to make sure I do my best to try to make sure I'm eating them around lunchtime. I don't think anybody should be
Yes.
eating them like at 6, 7 o'clock at night.
Right.
You know. So.
It just depends, honestly. Like I'm guilty of coming home after hot Pilates, and the Pilates class starts at 6:30, so I don't get home until 8. And so sometimes I will eat the ravioli at night, but I don't feel bad about it because I just worked so hard. So I'm like, I have to eat something. And usually, what will happen, and I hope that people are listening to this, is you can eat what you want in the right portion size.
Right.
So you shouldn't have to limit what you eat. You just limit how much of it that you do eat. And if you're the person that you know that you can't stop, like you were saying earlier, you're going to eat 5 donuts in a row, then
if
you
it's
know,
around.
yeah, then you know, and you shouldn't eat a donut to start the 5 donut spin. But if you know that you can portion it, then just control your portions.
Somebody had, just like in recovery, somebody has decided to take some action, take some steps to change what they eat, maybe work on their fitness a little bit, and they do well for a short period of time, and they resort back to their old eating habits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is, just like in, using substances, that carries a lot of guilt, maybe some shame, and it really, like, they struggle to get back on the diet because, it didn't work, or this and that. I didn't see the instant results that I was looking for, and it's not convenient for me to do this. So, like, what are the best steps or techniques to, like, maybe number one, prevent that from, like, happening,
Right.
and then also, like, if it does happen, how do we accept that it did and, like, get back on it? How do we keep maintain that, like, drive and motivation to get back if we did fall off of our little diet? Like Caleb mentioned, the holidays coming up.
Holidays are tough.
They are tough. But I mean, I know what you're saying, and I think that there's not a miracle answer, or we would all be, the obesity rate wouldn't be what it is.
It's more than just, and I always say this, it's more than buying a Fitbit and a gym membership.
Amen to that.
Because that's what a lot of people think. Like, all right, I'm going to do this. Yeah.
It is. And if my mother's listening, I'm sorry. I promise I'm not trying to throw you under the bus. But I preach and preach because she drinks, well, my whole family drinks soft drinks like it's going out of style. And so, Mountain Dew is her vice, and she drinks Mountain Dew for her coffee in the morning, or she drinks Mountain Dew progressively throughout the day. And so, she did an assessment with me, and I said, this is the first step. Like, okay.
That's cool.
Step number 1 is let's cut out the soft drinks. And that was really hard for her.
How does she react to that?
Not well, at all. And so the reason that I'm bringing that up is because what I told her is if you don't have it around, then you can't, it's not there for you to have. And so that was her first step, was not buying them anymore and just whatever they had in the house. And she would limit herself to say like one a day or whatever it was until they ran out, and she just wouldn't buy anymore. And she didn't see the results like you were talking about. She didn't see the results that she wanted to see. And so she was like, I came back to the house one day and I said, Mom, you're drinking your Mountain Dew again. What happened? And she said, well, I didn't see any results. So I said, screw it. I'm just going to drink my Mountain Dews. Sorry, Mom. And so it's just stuff like that. Like, I understand people get discouraged because you don't see the results you want to see right away. People go to the gym. I see memes all the time. People going to the gym and saying, I spent 30 minutes in the gym and I didn't lose my 10 pounds.
Right.
And it is discouraging, but I think that what you're saying is what happens when you fall off and you get back on the wagon. It all goes back to the goal setting and the plan of, okay, here's the steps I'm going to take. Whenever when my students were doing this, I would ask them to make a plan, and then I would ask them to reevaluate that plan. Okay, going to the gym's not working. What's going to work? Taking that out of your house, is that going to work? If it's not, okay, let's find a different plan. But I do think that people shouldn't be shamed for falling off the wagon or not having success the first time. I mean,
eating bananas.
We're
funny.
human, right? We're
Right.
human. And so as long as you get back on and you try it again and you try it a different way, I feel like you'll be successful if you continue to do the same things over and over again and get the same result. I mean, that's
How important do you think this time of year is to, we spoke about it just briefly. How important do you think this time of year is to your fitness and nutrition goals? And I'll piggyback off that in just a minute about New Year's, like resolutions and stuff.
Yeah, New Year's. I think I might have a different opinion on this than you might think. So I think that, and because I am a Christmas lover, Christmas is my favorite time of the year.
She loves it so much she put it in her bio.
I did.
Yeah.
I really do. So I think that it's okay to indulge a little bit, but not overindulge.
Okay.
For me, it's Christmas time. I love Christmas. I'm going to eat some cookies and not feel bad about it at all. You know?
I always say that, but I feel awful after.
Really?
Yes.
I
like
don't.
yesterday, I went to this thing down Murphy, spoke, and they give us these boxes, and they had cupcakes and peanut butter balls and everything. And so last night I bring them into the house, and I was going to I gave them away. So anyways, I bring them to the house, and I'm standing there, and I'm just looking at them, and I'm just like, I opened the box up, ate a peanut butter ball, and I just felt I shut the box, threw them in the vehicle, and took them and gave them away. Because I mean, for real, like, I don't know what it is. It's just, anyways, go ahead.
No. But what creates that guilt in you?
I guess where I've worked so hard to get to where I'm at,
Yeah.
I feel like that can really just start building on top of each other. You know,
Right.
I eat one of that, eat a peanut butter ball, and then the next thing I'm doing, I'm stopping in McDonald's and getting a Big Mac. It's kind of like my recovery. I know that I can't go there,
Perfect.
so that's how I relate to it.
No, I mean, I think that's perfect. Of you acknowledging that one, because what people fail to understand is that just because you don't want to eat that peanut butter ball doesn't mean anything against anybody else, or you're judging anybody for eating a peanut butter ball. And it doesn't make you any less either, because
I will take those peanut butter balls.
yeah, see? But, I mean, I think that that's great that you know that, because I understand where you're coming from. For me personally, I don't think I've shared this, but in my journey to health and fitness, I struggled for a little while with what most people would probably consider an eating disorder. And so I understand for myself that if I start down that rabbit hole of, no, you can't have that cookie, or I battle myself with that, then I'm like you, where I'm going to go down that hill fast, and I'm going to be in a place where you don't want to be. And,
Right.
and I think that relates back to mental health and nutrition in a big way, of different things that you eat contribute to mental health and acknowledging yourself. and knowing where you can't and can't go.
So one of the things that I kind of put on like the list of ideas that I wanted to ask you about, somebody tuning in, Tanya Williamson.
Oh yeah.
She wanted to know, it kind of relates to something that I was also thinking about. She says she deals with stress, anxiety, and depression.
Yeah.
So my go-to is food. What is a better choice of food to go to? If I am going to stress eat, what are some healthy alternatives?
To what, Tanya? What do you...
I'm sure like Doritos,
right?
or whatever. You
Yeah.
know, what do we tend to stress eat? Peanut butter balls, Doritos,
right.
donuts right here,
Right.
You know.
Yeah. That's a loaded question.
It is a loaded question.
Wow. I'm not sure I know how to respond. So my first thought is, okay, well, one, what's causing the stress? And two, how can we more appropriately deal with the stress versus eating? So like I said, I taught stress management. So finding a different outlet for managing that stress. And there's so many different outlets that we can use. And so I think that I would implore her that whenever she gets to feel stressed and she feels that stress coming on, to maybe go take a walk.
Yeah.
Maybe go outside and take a walk and then come back inside and see how much she feels or how much better she feels. If I was going to say to pick a food, which I don't want to implore you to do this because, again, that continues to create that habit that you don't want to sustain. Make it something healthy like fruit, your favorite fruit, strawberries, blueberries, apples, whatever that may be. But I would implore her to pick a different outlet for stress. I know that we're not all perfect, and I'm certainly not saying, no, don't do that. But there's so many better methods to use. You know what I mean?
Certainly.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I think that, like, stress is one of those inevitable things that are unavoidable. Every single one of us tuning in, sitting at this table, will experience regular stress. But for some reason, we have this perception of life that, like, it's not supposed to be stressful. I have all these things, right? A family and a house and a car and a job. So why is my life stressful?
Right.
But it's unavoidable. So we tend to not have, like, a healthy relationship with our stress. And so what are techniques or ways that you can change your relationship with stress? To know that, like, yeah, it's shit's hitting the fan right now, but it's temporary, man.
Right.
You know, like, my car's in the shop or the bills are due and we're behind on the rent or whatever. And that, like, you know, by stressing out, by changing the way I relate to that and saying that, okay, yeah, the rent's due, but guess what? I get paid on Friday. So is the landlord going to boot me out by Friday? So what am I stressing out about?
Right.
You know,
I got some candles. I'm ready to burn.
I got some candles. I'm ready to burn them. Like, be resourceful. Like, it's okay. It's kind of normalizing the experience in that it's okay to be stressed out. It's not okay to react in a way that would be harmful to myself or to my family or friend or whoever. Like, but that in itself is a process. It's not something that, like, what was our coping skill?
Right.
Drugs and alcohol, right? Like, I felt uncomfortable. I picked up a case of beer. I felt uncomfortable. I smoked crack. Like, that's just, that was the, that was the relationship.
No, I think that's a great question. And I often ask, so whenever I teach stress management or I do a stress management class, I always start off by saying, who in this room doesn't have stress? Because if you don't have stress, we need to talk because, you know, I have stress in my life and I'm not going to say I'm the best person at handling stress. I'm not going to sit here and do that either. But I do think what you're saying is relating to stress. And I will share my 2018 goal was to be more grateful. So that was my New Year's resolution, was to be more grateful. And I think that that's helped me with my stress level of acknowledging, okay, well, everyone at the beginning of their day or the end of their day can say, what 3 things am I grateful for today?
What? How many?
3.
Okay.
We can all come up with 3 things that we're grateful for.
We should be able to.
And whenever I do that activity, people are always so broad and they're always like, I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for my house. Perfect. But what I'm looking for is 3 things that day that went right versus what the one thing that went wrong and caused you to go haywire. Because for me, I mean, it's small little things in my day that can kind of break the camel's back. Let's not go down my stress hole here. But to sit there and to think during my day, because I carve out that time every single morning, to start it out and say, you know what, I'm grateful for Cody getting me coffee this morning. Shout out to Cody, love you. And so him getting me coffee in the morning, or, you know, a good run at the gym, those little things that kind of make my day that we can be grateful for. And I think that those are the key pieces to relating to stress.
And it's selfless. You know, to stop and think about, like, well, this didn't go wrong, or this didn't go right, you know, this went wrong. I mean, you just got to stop and think about those things. And, I mean, that's how we increase joy and happiness in our life. Yeah.
Here we are 12 months later since you started this practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up? What's going on?
Really and truly, y'all. I mean, it's so simple. And I missed a few days. I won't lie. There are some days that I was like, crap, I forgot to do that. But then what I do is if I do miss a day or a week, then I go back and I think about those days and I write in. So it makes me even more grateful. And so a year later, after doing this whole journey and just a small little book, I wish I had it here with me. I can't even preach to y'all enough to say that it's made a huge difference of the way I look at things of, you know, it might be raining outside, or maybe my car's in the shop, or maybe I had an argument with my mom that morning, whatever it may be, but those small little things make up your day.
When somebody decides to like take action and change their nutrition, change their diet, change their exercise, like I guess what tends to work the best? Like a radical shift in like eating habits, or something like a little bit more gradual, like you mentioned your mother. So like today I'm going to, for the first 2 weeks, I'm going to cut out soda. And then in 2 weeks after that, I'm going to work on reducing some carbs, some unhealthy carbs. A few weeks after that, you know, is it a more gradual progression tend to be more lasting, or is it something that is, I'm going to go down to Whole Foods right now and just load up on the healthiest shit that I can find. Like what? Yeah. And then you're stuck with like $400 worth of food that you're not gonna eat.
And that goes bad really fast.
That goes bad, yeah. So like and I don't even know. I don't know.
No, I think that's a great question. And I think if we're talking about, I want to say in recovery, gradual change, because if you change automatically, then you fail and you automatically feel guilty for not doing that one little thing that you should be doing. So that sets you back. So not even just for recovery, but gradual changes in general are the best solution that you can find, because what research will tell you is that people who start things like fad diets, like the keto diet, and they sustain it for months, and like a couple months, then you go, I mean, you make a big change in your life and it's hard to sustain that for a prolonged period of time. I have an example. One of my students, his goal for the semester, that was part of our project and part of the class, was they had to set a goal and complete it and work on it throughout the semester. One of my students, his goal was to quit smoking. And so I said, we sat down and he said, I don't think I can do a cold turkey. Well, I don't want you to do a cold turkey. We did it gradually. Like he said, okay, this is how many cigarettes I smoke this week. I smoke, I don't know, a carton, whatever it was. And then we dimmed it down every single week. He'd say, okay, I'll smoke one less cigarette, one less whatever it is. And by the end of the semester, y'all, he didn't smoke anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Really and truly, he didn't smoke anymore. So the gradual progressions of slowly taking whatever it is out of your life tend to be more productive, because you're making those small changes.
Right.
And we can all adjust to a small change versus a huge change in your life that you're trying to fill a void with.
That's a pretty fabulous story to like know that like here you are like a adjunct professor at Western Carolina University to like there to educate students, and you're making an impact on their lives. Like not only are you like they're changing behaviors, but that's like a skill set that they can take on and apply to the rest of their life and share with their friends and family. And like
that was the goal, was I can teach you what macronutrients, micronutrients
I
are
can grade
all
your,
day.
I
Yeah.
can grade your essays.
I can do that all day
Yeah,
long, but the main project that I always assign is called the Behavior Change Project. And we start out every semester, they set a goal, they sign a contract with me saying that they're going to complete it.
And statistically, that tends to like hold
Yes.
up, right?
Well,
I've
they're
heard.
getting a grade for it, so
Oh, okay.
you know.
Really?
Yeah, so they have to do it. And so my thing is they can do anything that they want to do. It's not just weight. It's not just some kids decide that they want to do, they want to save money. That's their goal. Some decide that they want to read more books.
It doesn't have to relate to like,
No,
health
it
or
doesn't
wellness.
have to. It's health for them. And so over the semester, we set a goal. They sign a contract, and then they write me out. They literally, and they I know they hate me for it. And I tell them every semester, you're going to hate me for this, but once it's over, you'll love me. They have to create and plan every single day.
What?
Every single day of the semester for their goal of, if they're going to lose 10 pounds, I'm going to the gym this day. Okay, well, great. What are you doing in the gym that day? They have to plan every single day out. And if they have a rest day, perfect. You just write rest day on your calendar. So that way there's no guesswork to what they're doing. They have it right there in front of them. They have a blueprint for success. And they mark off those days. If they miss a day, fine. Get back on the wagon. You know what you have coming next. And that's why I say, well, okay, if it doesn't work, then come meet with me. We'll find something that does work. And I've had so many students lose like 10 pounds, 15 pounds. They've increased their bench max by 10, or they've quit smoking, or they've done so many different things. I had one student who actually stopped drinking. He had an alcohol issue and stopped drinking. And so it's just the fact that they have a blueprint that they planned out themselves. I didn't plan it for them. They knew what they could do and what they couldn't do and what they had access to. And so by the end of the semester, they're all like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, you're the best. And I said, well, you hated me in the beginning.
That's awesome, Chelsea. That's really good work.
Thank you.
If you could change your behavior right now, what would it be? If you were one of Chelsea's students, what would you pick?
That's a good question. I would start planning my days better,
Yeah?
my workouts and stuff. Because like you said, the whole guesswork, a lot of times most of the time, I don't write down what I do at the gym.
Right.
And I need to start doing
Do you
that.
suggest like keeping a log of like the food you consume and maybe like the workouts that you do? And
If
stuff
that's
like
your
that?
goal with the end goal in mind, that's if people are wanting to work on their nutrition, and I have a lot of people that want to just work on nutrition and not physical activity, then I say, okay, well, plan out your diet. Plan out your diet for the week. What are you going to eat? Where are you going to eat? Because, college students, they live on campus most of the time, so they don't have access to anything else, and that's a big issue. So I tell them, well, okay, I know what Brown serves. I know what this restaurant serves, and you plan that out.
They
Upon
do
knowledge.
have like healthy options
They
over
do.
there,
They just
but it's easier to go to Chick-fil-A.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
easier to go, it's easier to go to Chili's than it is to go.
exactly right.
I mean, I've heard that the sushi up in the cafeteria is the bomb.
I've heard that too. My
Yeah.
students have said
Really?
that before.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
These kids brag about the sushi.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kayla McCoy,
What's
what I'm hearing you say is that if anybody's tuning in and wants to get you a calendar for Christmas,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll do it old school and write down your days.
I mean, I need to. It holds me more accountable. That way, when I
Right.
get to the gym, I'm not like,
What am I doing?
yeah.
And that's the purpose.
how much time do you spend in the gym every day?
I mean, I usually get there and start training. I usually train 2 people in the morning, so I'm there from 6 to 8, at least 3 or 4 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll normally get in and work out about an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I try to mix in a couple long runs during the week.
How much
So-
of that time in the gym is spent just like figuring out what you want to do today?
Too much. Probably I sit out in the parking lot normally
Okay.
before I come in. I'll have their workouts planned the night before, and then I come in and I'm like, okay, so I'll be done at this time, and I'll start writing out my own stuff. Sometimes, if I do, if I don't, then I don't know I don't remember what I do. I
Yeah.
just come in there and start working hard, but I don't remember what I do. So and I got some pretty lofty goals for coming up.
You do.
qualifying for Boston, running a 2 hour and 45-minute marathon. I need to make sure that I'm being very meticulous in my planning and stuff. It really helped me out a lot.
Detail oriented.
Yeah.
Very much so.
What are some healthy alternatives to like just unhealthy snacking and stuff like that?
Like healthy snacks?
Yeah, like just what are some healthy alternatives to like those cravings of
Instead of eating a bunch of potato chips.
instead of
like,
me eating 5 donuts yesterday. It
obviously
was so
fruit,
nice,
but
man.
like
No,
something.
it was so nice. Like the sweetest, kindest little elderly lady. She showed up with a dozen donuts, right? She's like, here, I got this for you guys for Christmas.
It's really the devil.
She's like, you guys,
Yeah, how can you say no?
she's like, you guys always take good care of me. You're so nice all year long. Miss Betty Reed, you know her?
No.
No, Miss Betty Reed. She comes in there with a dozen donuts, and I crushed like 4 of them because I was like, it was just me and one other person working. I'm like, I know they're not going to eat these things tomorrow, so I might as well just eat the rest of the donuts.
Take it all away.
But what are some like good healthy alternatives to like, that type of like what should I be carrying in my bag over there? And I'm thinking that we might should just go and analyze that
Your
bag.
bag
too in
looks
a
pretty
second.
good.
That
I'm not
is,
gonna
yeah.
lie.
We got a good bag.
'Cause
Over
that's
there,
my
Steve.
typical go-to. But
You're killing it.
what are some like what would you suggest? What do you snack on? What do
What
you
do I
bring with
snack
you? Like what would you?
First of all, so people listening, in his bag he has bananas, a Cliff Bar, some carrots, and what else?
Granola bars.
An apple.
An apple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Granola
you're
bars.
killing it. Cliff
Yeah.
Bars.
But
Cliff
aren't
bars.
aren't
Right?
those aren't
Right.
those in them? Yeah. Aren't those in themselves just like high sugar, tons of carbs? Like is that even a healthy like?
I eat them on ultras. I'll smash some
It
Cliff
just
bars.
depends. So it really just depends on your end goal in mind. So Cliff Bars do have a lot of sugar in them. Any granola bar has a lot of sugar in them, honestly. But it's a much healthier alternative than donuts.
Eating a Butterfinger.
Yeah, or Butterfinger or whatever it
real.
may be. And this looks like it has the chia seeds in it.
Caitlin's
Yeah,
on there.
seeds.
She said Nutella.
I-
You
Nutella.
you have
I
right?
don't- No, I take sunflower seed butter.
Oh, okay.
There you go,
Okay.
killing it. So let's read the ingredient list.
I take those little baby carrots and I just scoop that sunflower seed butter.
Yeah, I
out of
tried
it.
some of that the
Ooh,
other day.
that's
It's so delicious.
good.
But the thing is that like it's the same thing. Like I'll eat half
Butter.
the damn bag of carrots.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ted's
but-
got a good Ted. Let's see.
What's Ted got for
Yeah,
us?
what has he got? Let's hear it, Ted.
Some of us have sedate office jobs or sit in class. Others have active jobs like construction trades, moving many hours of the day. Can and / how do we substitute or balance active work with gym time? That's a good.
Balancing active work with gym time. So finding time in your day or actually going to the gym. Do you
How
know-
can can do we substitute or balance? I mean, all of it boils down to sacrifice.
Right.
Like
Priorities.
I mean, yes, you gotta go ahead and get in that mindset of like, this is what I want. Whenever I sit down and talk to people about training them and everything, I recommend they write down their goals.
Right.
What's 15, 20 pounds they want to do the Boston Marathon. Okay. How many times a week are you going to do this? Like, what are you going to sacrifice? Go ahead
Right.
and put it on your phone. That
Exactly.
way it lights up. You see it all the time. It's
Yeah.
holding you accountable.
Yeah, and that goes back to the calendar that my students make of that you're doing this that day, so you know what time you'll be doing it.
Right.
And so that's always what I tell them is, well, I have class during this time, and then I have homework, and then I have X, Y, and Z. But then I always ask them, this always comes up of, okay, and this is just college students, this is not working people, of, okay, well, how much Netflix do you watch? Okay, well, how much time are you spending on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? Because the amount of hours that we spend on social media is absurd. And I think that we calculated it. We calculated it in the class, and it's like 3 to 4 hours a day that people spend on social media.
I can attest to that.
And so I think that if you count those hours in your day, then that's 3 to 4 hours you could be doing something like going to the gym or taking a walk with your dog or whatever that is. But like you said, it's priorities and kind of setting the time out that you have. For me, example, I wake up, and I'm sure you're probably the same way. I wake up at 4:45 in the morning and I go to the gym by 5:15. And that's because I know that's what time I have. I know I'm better in the mornings and in the afternoon once I get home from work. Sometimes
You hear that, Caitlin?
Sometimes I don't want to
She doesn't get up with
go.
you?
Wait, I mean, we get up at 5, but we don't go to the gym. We was having this conversation last night. Caitlin gets so, she tells me I have a spirit of anorexia, but I don't think I do. She's like, we're going to rebuke that spirit of anorexia. She's always talking. But because I got into the mirror last night, and I'm like, I feel like I'm not. I can't remember how I said it. I'm like, I'm putting on weight, and she's like, oh my gosh. So she goes in this long spiel about like, I'm at work, and and what she does, we get up at 5 o'clock normally, get ready. I take her to work by 6. I go straight to the gym, and she's just really been really frustrated. Yeah, so she's on there commenting right now. She gets frustrated because she's like, I have to be at work, and you get to go to the gym, and so I feel like she's looking at what I'm doing, and I told her, I was like, get up at a few minutes early, go do some burpees, go run to the bottom of the hill and back. You know what I mean? Just love you, baby.
I was about to say, you're killing it, Caitlin. Don't worry
And
about it.
She spends time there in the evening.
Right.
I always see her-
Right. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
But she was in her head about like, I'm putting on weight. I bet I put on 7 pounds, and I'm like, you can get that right back off if you have.
Okay, well, number one, girl, don't step on the scale. That's the number one rule. You got it. Like, don't even worry about how much you weigh. I don't know what I weigh ever.
Really?
Because again, that goes back to I know myself, and I know where I struggle.
Right.
And so if I weigh in and it's not exactly what I want that number to look like, then I'm automatically like, oh my gosh, I need to go to the gym. And I mean, Cody would probably already say that I'm like that I'm like, oh, I ate a cookie, I need to go run for 30 minutes.
So when's the last time you weighed yourself?
I will weigh in at the doctor, but they don't tell me.
Whoa.
I ask them not to tell me. I'll turn
Really?
my head away.
So
yes.
it's, wow.
Yeah, I don't ever want to know.
Well, the thing is, dude, like it fluctuates so much just
Yeah,
with
it
like
does.
water weight and like dehydration and things like that. Like, I mean, you could probably be on a spectrum of 10 to 12 pounds in like a week, depending on like what you're eating, how much you're working out, all that stuff. So,
Right.
I don't weigh myself either, but
I do.
do you?
Yeah. Not a lot, maybe once every couple of weeks. So
Caitlin better be earning them sunrises, man.
I'm not saying anything else.
She better earn that
Shit,
sunrise.
I'll be getting beat up when I go home.
Whatever.
She said, I really don't know how much weight I've gained because I won't get on a scale because I can see weight gain.
I can see it.
I understand
She
that.
needs to calm down, man.
No.
Tell her to
I
calm down.
understand.
She needs to relax. She's doing fine.
Yes,
You-
she
you
is.
are doing fine.
And her schedule's getting ready to change so she can
Okay.
get more time in. And it goes back to that sacrifice. So
What are your thoughts on fasting?
yes. Here
Oh,
we go.
Caleb was asking me about this. So my thoughts on fasting.
Outside of, because I do it a lot of times spiritually speaking.
Gotcha.
But,
Outside of religion.
physically, yes.
Gotcha.
And more like even like intermittent fasting.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
So there is research behind intermittent fasting, and I've tried intermittent fasting. Cody came home one day and was like, "We should totally try this." And so
Where'd he get the idea?
totally did. He reads articles like nobody's business, so he's always reading something, learning up on it, way more than I am, probably, honestly. So intermittent fasting, he came home and was talking about it, and I was like, I don't know about that. Like, that sounds dumb. I think those were my exact words. And so then I naturally go and do my own homework, like researching all kinds of studies and looking at the statistics of it. And the intermittent fasting, if you do it the way that you're talking about, if it is intermittent and say that you start your eating from like 7 a.m. to, I can't remember what the math is. Like
It's like 8 and 16.
It's,
So like 16 hours window that you can eat, and then an 8-hour time period off, or even 16-hour period off. So like
it's like the numbers that I were looking at, you could do 8 to 10 hours where you eat. I think the range is like 6 to 10, and then the rest of the time you're fasting. So most of the time that scheduled fasting is when you're not already eating. So it's while you're sleeping. So you could start your eating at 7 a.m. and then finish eating at 2 to 3 and not anything else until 7 a.m. the next day, which is fasting. I don't know why I just said that. Sorry. Repeating myself. So the way that I look at it and the way a lot of research looks at it is it's primal instinct. The fasting is because if you think of primal days, they don't have access to food 24/7, right? So they're getting what they can off of the land. They're getting berries, they're getting food during the day because I mean, really, you're not going to go out and hunt at night, is logistically. So from the time of sun up to basically sundown is basically when you would be eating, and you're eating the primal things. So I think intermittent fasting has some pretty good substance there.
What do you think, Rob?
I do it almost every day.
Yeah,
I tend to not eat I bought all that food, and I'll eat it when we're done here today.
Yeah.
All of it, every bit of it.
A good portion of these 6 granola bars here. But the last thing I ate was dinner last night at about 7:00. So we're going on 16.
More power to you.
Yeah.
I would not be able to do that.
What?
I don't know. I just
The intermittent fasting?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll go 16 hours without eating.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's really just cutting out the breakfast. But the only thing that I don't know how it would work was if I was working out in the morning.
And that was my struggle because I
Right.
tried intermittent fasting and I work out twice a day usually. And
Yeah.
so that was my issue.
So do you not eat it before you work out?
A lot of times I don't, and sometimes I'll even just really challenge myself, and this is just to build that mental toughness. A lot of times, I done a fasted run the other day, 17 miles without eating.
In the morning?
Yeah, first thing.
Is there not any health risk to that, man? If you're pushing your
There
body
is.
to those extremes?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure
Just a
that's,
little bit. Just a few.
but it's just I really just I don't know. It's probably not. In medical terms, in the medical field, I'm sure there's a lot of
Oh.
really.
So we got a code red going on.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You had to
Well,
ask.
okay, well,
I'm
we'll
not
worry
well
about
versed
that.
in the codes. I'm sure it's not good.
Yeah.
Don't judge me, y'all.
If they're black.
I'm not. My office is not actually in the hospital, so.
Dang, that thing's going on.
Oh, is it the fire alarm?
She said code red somewhere.
Huh.
Should we go check?
No, it's fine.
We're gonna ride this baby out.
Yeah. let's do
No,
it.
it really is fine.
Okay.
But the reason I started doing it is because I was eating clean. I was I was exercising. Getting in the gym often, and I couldn't lose my belly fat. Which that's when I started taking the CLAs.
Now tell us.
I can't-
What
I
does
can't
that stand for?
I can't pronounce it. I'll have to drop it in the comments.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and a stimulant, which I guess that would kind of take us into our next subject on supplements.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about your supplements first?
Yeah.
I take the GNC men's multivitamin, and it's got a stimulant which got caffeine in it. It's the equivalent of 2 cups of coffee.
Is
And
there other stuff in it besides caffeine?
Oh
stimulant?
yeah. I mean, I'll have to research that. But so one you take with food, the other one you can just take by itself. And a lot, I wait till obviously around lunchtime or whenever I eat to take it.
Cody's texting me to look on the back of my ID
And
card
you
because
s-
it
says
has
it right there.
It says it right here. Yeah.
Love it.
What?
Thanks, babe. Cardiac arrest. Nope, that's code blue.
Fire.
Yep, it's fire. That's what I thought.
We're
And he's telling me where my ID is in case I wasn't aware of where my ID is. Thank you, honey.
we're rebels here at NCRAW. We're gonna ride out the fire alarm. Go on, Caleb.
But yeah, I mean that's why, because I had a lot of belly fat that I wasn't burning off. But then I noticed too that I was drinking a lot of Red Bulls at that time, and I mean all sugar,
Yeah.
couple of them a day. So I stopped the
Oh,
Red
geez.
Bulls.
Yeah. How much water do you consume?
A lot.
You do.
Yeah, I do.
On
drink
top of all these Red Bulls and stuff?
Well, I don't drink them anymore. And if I do get a Red Bull, it's sugar free.
Okay.
What? What is it?
Sugar free? Is there such a thing?
Yeah, there is. It tastes like crap. I don't even know why I drank it, honestly. But yeah, that's why I started the intermittent fasting to get my belly, and it has. I've seen a huge difference. So, what about you, Steve?
I don't take any supplements yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
needed a multivitamin because
Yeah.
I was burning through so
Uh-huh.
much, so I figured I'd check that out.
Yeah, maybe when I start cranking up the exercise with you,
You gonna get it?
we'll get to that point.
Yeah.
Supplements.
What'd you find
You're
out
both
for
looking
us?
at me like supplements. So they asked me this question in advance, and I'm not a huge believer in a lot of supplements. So I had to do my homework on supplements. What exactly is it that y'all are wanting to know? Just in
Like-
general?
If you go to GNC,
Mm-hmm.
watch some stuff that's really beneficial, and watch some stuff that you kind of would recommend staying away from.
Staying away from anything that you don't know what it is, like CLAs.
Like anything, what did it say? Extreme fat burner or
Yeah,
something like that?
yeah. I mean, I don't even remember what that logo said now, but
Miracle weight loss pill.
yes,
Miracle.
miracle weight loss pill is what Caleb.
But
is
I
now
mean, don't
taking.
all of them say that?
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean anything that you aren't really sure would be my advice of, like, I don't know about this. I'm not really comfortable. Do your homework on it. The top 5 that I read about this week were, what was it? Whey protein, creatine,
Whey protein.
turmeric, and what was the other one? There might have just been 4. But yeah, it was definitely whey protein, creatine, and the turmeric. And I mean, most people know about those because they're always on the market of whey protein and different things. Oh, we're good.
Code red is all clear,
Yeah,
baby.
we're good.
Hey, what did you have right there? The 7 benefits of what?
7 benefits. These are my notes, y'all. 7 benefits of fasting.
Let's hear 'em.
Oh.
Let's see. You have. Oh no, that's just the bullet point. Benefits of fasting. So your benefits of fasting, obviously blood sugar control. It's like I said, it's the primal instinct to stick with your circadian rhythms. So anytime, anything primal like that, like I said, the fasting, you're sticking with that type of rhythm. It boosts your metabolism because you're not eating all day like that, and you could help with your blood pressure. So different
It's
things.
good
of that
stuff.
nature.
That's good stuff. What else you got in there for us?
Oh, geez. Lots of stuff. So your supplements, you asked me about supplements. Whey protein, turmeric, creatine, and then BCAAs is apparently really
What is
popular
that?
right now.
I've heard of that.
It's branded chain amino acids, which help you maintain muscle mass. So it's not as much of a weight loss supplement as just helping you maintain through protein synthesis.
So are you taking this weight loss supplement just because of your quote unquote love handles?
Belly fat, love handles.
Belly fat? Is that what you're
Um,
saying?
The weight loss supplement?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, once I get to where I want to get to, I'm not going to take it no more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've been taking it for almost 2 months. So, and I may not see a huge difference. And I mean, my performance when I go race and everything, I feel like it's not affecting me negatively right now. Maybe I feel great. I mean, I'm seeing transformation, even though a lot of times I complain like I don't. I do.
Yeah.
So, and I'm taking it like I'm supposed to. You
Well,
know?
yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not well versed in supplements, so I definitely don't want to speak to anything that I'm not well versed in. I would just say do your homework before you try anything and make sure that you feel comfortable before you put yourself in a situation that you're not aware of.
Ted said something.
Okay.
Ted?
Yep. And Caitlin, I love you. Sorry if I made it.
Something about New Year's. He said.
Yeah.
What you mentioned like the sodas,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
soft drinks, right?
Yes.
So like many people who have been consuming sodas,
Mhm.
soft drinks for many years, like it's a drastic change
Oh,
to
yeah.
go to just water.
Yeah.
Right? Like I drink a lot of water. I've always drinking a lot of water because I was an alcoholic and I had to I learned to rehydrate my body
Yeah.
decades ago. But so for somebody that consumes a lot of soft drinks, what are some healthy options that might not be like immediately just hydrating with water? Like, are there other things that might not be that might be a little more beneficial than just like soft drinks?
Yeah, I get asked that all the time.
Like, and when we talked about that slow transition that some of your students made, like, what would be some options that people could kind of turn to?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So soft drinks, much like all other things, have so much sugar in them, and the statistics on the back, people don't believe me whenever I tell them how much sugar is in something. So it's not necessarily the soft drink, it's the fact that it's the sugar and it's the caffeine that comes with the sugar. So if we think of sugar as a drug and you combine...
Check.
Yes.
A dope, an ounce of dang dope, you know what I mean? And then I think about a pile of sugar, I'm just like, what?
And it really, the brain does not react any differently to sugar than it does cocaine. So,
donuts.
Yeah, I mean, really and truly, it responds the same way.
Remember I was talking about that craving, that unresistible craving?
Yes, and research will tell you that people who have addictive personalities and go into recovery will choose sugar instead of the original drug. So they'll switch from that to sugar, and that's the same thing with soft drinks. It's the double whammy of you have a lot of sugar, like 42 grams of sugar in one thing. And you combine caffeine, which again is another drug that you have. So you combine both of those things. And I mean, we're setting people up for failure. I mean, sugar and caffeine, how could you not love that? Right?
Right.
It's like dumping a whole bunch of really nice creamer into your coffee. And so an alternative to, what were you going to say?
Black.
There you go. I wish I could drink it that way.
Yeah.
No.
She put more creamer in
you
there.
did. No, you didn't.
Okay, good.
He's asking me. So an alternative, you really have to think about that, because you have both caffeine and sugar for that, and people have to realize that it's going to be similar to a detox of when you don't have soft drinks. My mother complained so often about having headaches, maybe sweating a little bit more, things of that nature that you just don't want to go through. And so again, small steps of, okay, I drink 3 sodas a day, dwindle it to 2, dwindle it down to 1. And then substitutions, things like, I wouldn't recommend Gatorade because it has just as much sugar in it. A lot of drinks out there, like, what is that? It's a water.
Vitamin water.
Yeah, vitamin water has so much sugar in it.
Does it really?
Yes. Yeah. It has like 32 grams.
I don't drink a lot of vitamin water anyways, but I didn't know that. I thought
yeah, right. It says water, so you think it's water, but it's not. So
gotcha.
Yeah, for real though, it's great advertising for people to think that it's water. So I wouldn't substitute those things, but I would dwindle it down to a couple of sodas a day or whatever it is.
So there is no healthy substitute, really, is what you're saying.
Well, no. So Cody and I have been drinking these things called Body Armors that have a lot less sugar in them. They have integrated fruit sweeteners or natural sweeteners, and so they don't have as much sugar in them. They do have sugar, but it's not anywhere near what Gatorade or vitamin water would be. Another alternative, I don't ever know how to say this, is called Bai water.
I was going to say that. Those are
yes,
delicious.
They are delicious, and they only have 1 gram of sugar in them.
I seen that. I got me one yesterday.
Yes, and you can identify all of the ingredients on that list. So there's not any guessing work to that. So slowly kind of weaning yourself off and drinking that, and then maybe drinking regular water with lemon, or flavor it however you want to flavor it, because lemon water actually...
And how about sweet tea when you go to restaurants? I see people drinking sweet tea. I'm just like... and just working down there at Anthony's and everything, and I'll just watch them put in that huge thing of sugar.
Yes.
And I'm like, I can't believe I used to drink that all the time.
Yeah.
So many people around here do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like live off of that stuff.
And you have this culture down here. Like, I live in the South, so I have to drink. I have to drink sweet tea.
It is, but people don't realize. I used to hear a lot, well, I'm not drinking a Mountain Dew, I'm just drinking sweet tea. It's got to be better. It's actually worse.
Right.
I mean, depending on who makes it. McDonald's actually just cut back on their sugar intake, so they don't put it as much sugar in it. So it amazed me that I think it's like a 16-ounce Mountain Dew has more sugar in it than a normal large sweet tea from McDonald's.
Wow.
Which is baffling. Whew. So that just tells you how much sugar is in Mountain Dew.
So Ted said,
Yes.
he said, Caleb, you're going to say something about New Year's a while ago. Maybe I just missed it. You didn't miss it, Ted. We didn't get there yet. Well, he's going to talk about New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
I was trying to find some data, which I didn't find on how many people set a fitness and nutrition goal for their New Year's resolution, and like how many people actually stick by that. I didn't find any data. I will keep searching.
Not any.
Yeah, right. I mean, you would think there would be, right?
Well, not necessarily, because that would be statistical data about how many people meet their goal. So you would have to have a benchmarker for how you would measure that. Like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. And so then you would measure it as they go. So that would be kind of hard to do.
Okay. But my what I was going to talk about was, I think that if you sit back and say, I'm going to wait on this certain day, and I made a video about this, right? Remember the other day? I want to wait on this day to get started. I want to wait on everything to get right before I get started. You know, you're really setting yourself up, not for failure, but for a hard road.
Yeah.
I think that for me, setting a New Year's resolution to go ahead and start taking the proper steps. That way, on New Year's,
right,
it's not just like, okay, now I'm jumping right head first.
Right.
It's kind of like, taking those steps, those baby goals.
Right, the baby goals. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
The baby goals.
Yeah, dude.
I do too. That's why I had to say it.
According to Muscle and Fitness magazine, only 8%
There
of
you
people
go.
actually keep their New Year's resolutions.
Wow.
8%.
And now, I mean, I think that's a huge reason of it, because, what you're doing is you're going off emotion, you're going off feelings, you're going off what other people, like, you have this, everybody's doing it. Yes, everybody else is doing it, so I want to do it. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, that's not a good way to do it. You know what I mean?
No, I completely agree. And I also think that what I'm finding out with programs is that people have a hard problem sustaining those things for a prolonged period of time. So I have full and utter faith in people starting their goal on January 1st. I really do, because people are like, oh my gosh, New Year's resolution. There's so many more people in the gyms. Everything's flooded. And then after a month or two, they lose motivation. So they're like, okay, well.
Motivation.
I mean, really and truly, you just don't. Yeah. Like, where does your motivation come from at that point? Unless you have a friend that's doing it with you.
Unless Caleb McCoy's breathing down your neck.
Or you're seeing results. And half the time when people start New Year's resolutions, again, I have complete faith that they'll start them, but they don't have a plan in mind.
Right.
To continue that. And we continue to talk about how important that plan is with the big goal and the baby goals in mind.
Yeah.
So I find that to be one of the biggest things that I hope people gain, is that you have to have a goal and then goals to back up that goal.
I don't think that you need to have a reason to have a goal.
No.
Right? Like,
no.
I don't need to have January 1st be my New Year's resolution to start doing yoga and
Definitely
start running
not.
with you. Like, I'm going to do that because I want to do that, because I care about myself, not because of that influence, not because of it's the first of the year and we're going to have 2019 be the best year ever because I'm going to do these things.
Yes. But I do have to say that a part of me does love that there's these things called New Year's resolutions, because it gets people motivated to do something. Yes.
It is a good reminder.
Yes.
Have you ever successfully completed a New Year's resolution, Caleb McCoy?
I've been on drugs for so long. You know what I mean? This is like the second one. I didn't make one last year.
I did not make one last year either.
I don't think I did. So I heard a quote the other day. This is going to be my New Year's resolution, and I'm already doing it now. So I'll be successful.
Let me mark this tape real quick.
Hold on. Go
ahead. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
And anything that you do, and I heard this the other day in a sermon, being relentless will get you there.
Yeah.
Being consistent will keep you there.
Exactly.
And being grateful will increase what's there.
Most definitely.
TD Jakes.
So what's your New Year's resolution?
Just
to
that
do those
mindset.
Things?
To
do those things?
That's it.
In every aspect of your life.
That's right.
Outside of just your recovery or just your exercise.
Just everything,
live
man.
It, to really live it. I successfully completed one New Year's resolution.
Oh, yeah.
One.
Okay.
In 2017, kind of like a little bit before I met you, or
Uh-huh.
right as we were meeting. Me and my buddy James Skelton, we set New Year's resolutions because we're such rebels and badasses. We set New Year's resolutions to only use blue ink in 2017.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's like professionally appropriate to write in black ink.
I missed that. I have a green pen in my hand.
Do you? So we only use like
Really?
with your
You
like
didn't know that?
with your like
No.
formal documents and stuff like that. You're supposed to only use black. So we're like, you know what? Blue is kind of acceptable, like in the professional
Right.
world, but it's not green.
Yeah, it's not green.
Wild one over here.
So we only use if you go to my Instagram, NCRAW Steve, you'll see December 31st or January 1st, 2018 was the last day I wrote in blue ink. I did it 365 days of the year, every single day. I was relentless with my blue pen.
Well, we do
And
hand
so-
those out at the hospital
Blue
because
ones?
we have, because we're, Harris logo, Swain logo
Oh,
is
yeah.
blue. So
So how do you take that same like commitment, right? Like I'm talking about like I would like be at work and I would like get up off my desk and go downstairs, go out to the parking lot in my car, rummage through my car to find a blue one.
Really?
Instead of using the pile of black ones. Like how do you bottle that up? That same level of commitment, that same like passion,
Yeah. Everybody needs some of that, Steve.
and apply it to
Yeah.
whatever else.
Relentless with your blue ink.
Yeah.
that's funny.
And then the day that 2018 started, I just said
Black
I don't
ink,
care. It
whatever.
doesn't whatever.
Green
Green
pen.
works. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
It does
That's
not
hilarious.
matter to me.
that is
Yeah.
funny.
Good.
We're just trying to like do something.
What
different.
do you got? What you got? You got anything in
So-
mind?
Yeah, so funny that you bring up motivation. So as a part of my master's degree, I had to complete a thesis. And so part of my thesis was researching how people in positions of leadership can motivate people under them, so to speak. It was actually on coaches and how they motivate athletes is really what it was about. But you can really turn that into people in leadership power with whoever they're working with. So the top 3 things that I found in my research with motivating people is autonomy, so giving them a choice, so you allow them to choose and make them feel like they have a part of it. Support, so if they feel connected was a big part of it, how connected they feel, and kind of having that plan. So the autonomy and support were huge factors in motivating people, because for you got to choose that goal, right? That was all your own. Nobody came up with it for you. And the big thing is you were probably excited about it for whatever reason. And
Oh,
it could, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you went to your car and you
Yeah.
could have just gotten
all the time?
all the time. And I think that's a huge thing for people to be excited about it and to feel connected with that goal and to feel passionate about it and to make it feel like it's their choice. If you don't feel like you have a choice, do you really want to do it? Like a coach says, okay, this is what we're doing, and I don't care what you think.
Caleb McCoy, you're gonna run laps today, boy.
Yeah, and I don't care what you think, how you feel about it. But if you have a conversation with somebody, you get input, you feel connected, you feel like you have a say in it, then you're more likely to be motivated to do that, whatever it may be. And I think that those are motivating factors, because what I found in programs and classes is when you ask people to set a goal and they're not like, I'm going to do this, by gosh. Like, I'm so excited, I'm ready, whatever it is. And they're just kind of like, she's asking me to set a goal. Okay, fine. I'll set a goal to lose 10 pounds, whatever.
The pressure's on.
Yeah, the
to-
pressure is on for them to make a choice, and it is their choice, but at the same time, they're not as connected to that goal as they could be with something else. And I think that that's such a huge factor of people being passionate about what they're pursuing, and that motivates people. Passion just motivates people.
Mm-hmm.
Passion and drive, baby.
Passion
Yeah,
and
I mean,
drive.
truly, really and truly, if you're not in a position that you want to do something, you're not going to do it.
Tell Chelsea about motivation.
Hmm?
Tell Chelsea about motivation.
It's bullshit. my boy Goggins told me
Goggins.
it's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to we're motivated to do a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
but when we hit that resistance or something don't go our way, a lot of times that motivation leaves
Mm-hmm.
really quick. And so I think that you got to find something deeper than that.
Yeah.
like you said, passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about how he went to like he goes and talks to like college football teams and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was asking them, did you hear? He was asking like, when you work out, do you listen to music?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
have headphones in? And most younger people, most people say yeah, you know, and they're like, I use it for motivation. I get this one certain song or whatever it is,
Right.
certain playlist, my workout hype up playlist,
Yeah.
to get me hyped to work out. He's like, that's bullshit, man. That's fleeting. It's not going to last.
Exactly.
He's like, what are you going to do when you get on that football field and you get smacked in the face?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You don't have your headphones. You can't turn to your headphones. How are you going to stay motivated?
Right.
So I watched that, and normally I run my races with my bag on or my headphones in.
Yeah.
I watched that the next morning.
Done.
No headphones.
No.
Done.
I was like, that's so true, and it's like being alone with my thoughts. You know, a lot of times
Yeah.
we have to have noise. We got so much going on.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to just challenge myself and see how far I could, how hard I could push without that stuff.
Yeah, push yourself, and then also, like you said, just like
Disconnect.
the opportunity to process like what's happening, and
Yeah.
like set those goals and baby goals. And,
I did set a PR the other day when I done that, so I don't know if that had any. I want to say it did. It sounds good. I didn't wear my
It
headphones.
might.
Set a PR.
It might. You never know. Attribute it to whatever you feel like it is.
Chelsea Burrell,
Yes,
we're gonna
sir.
have to wrap up soon.
Oh man.
We're at 2 hours.
Dang.
Your boys got to get to work.
That fast.
Give me some closing thoughts.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
You're the
That's too much pressure.
you're the star of the show today.
Yeah,
girl.
you are.
No, definitely not. Star of the show. Closing thoughts. It's been fun. It's been real and real fun.
Time flies.
Time does fly when you're having fun. I implore anybody who has questions or thoughts that you want to bounce off of me or, Caleb or Steven here to reach out. We'll share my email and my phone on the website afterwards. So if you do want to set goals, you do want to program, you want to be a part of a program, or you just want to chat, just let me know.
I think that Res Hope should get her to do a program for our crew,
What are you thinking?
like for the audience, for NCRAW, for anybody involved in Res Hope. Get together sometime after the new year. And
I think you should be at the day one event.
That's too much pressure. You're putting too much pressure on me right now.
Oh my God.
He's putting me on the spot.
yeah, I'm just talking about like our little crew, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to get me to go to an event.
It's a big time event.
I
too.
know.
Chelsea, bro, you and Cody come over there. Hang out, get a signed copy of the book. and-
The pressure, baby.
yeah.
The pressure.
It's going to be a good thing. And I mean, hopefully you can talk to some people about nutrition and
Yeah.
fitness stuff, and they're going to recognize you from the podcast here, so be an opportunity to help some people.
Why don't you go ahead and share all that information so that anybody tuning in that has not seen your posts knows where to go, where to be, what's happening.
Okay, hang on a second.
It's the day one event taking place in Bryson City.
You got it pulled up?
No,
Okay.
it's for Spiritual Adrenaline. Mr. Tom Shanahan's book.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming out in January, and he's touring the country to connect with communities and sign some copies of the book. And
I get to sign. I haven't been working on my autograph, but I'm going to.
you're going to work on it?
Yeah, the sloppier, the more important
You
you are.
told me you were working
Oh
on
my
it.
goodness. Too
I'm
much.
excited. I'm excited about it. I mean, this is a big deal for me. I mean, I used to be running from the police and everything. Now I get to
Sign-
include it into a book.
Signing autographs in Bryson City where,
Yeah.
where you're hiding
Right. I
out.
was used to
Yeah.
signing bond papers and stuff. Yeah, so that's a big deal. All right, active sober movement for day one. Join others for a beginner's day of health, hope, and healing. January 1st, noon at CrossFit 2232, which is in Bryson.
Mm-hmm.
Schedule of events. Going at noon, we're going to have an introduction to CrossFit movement discussion and a 15-minute beginner's workout. Then we're going to have a walk around the block to cool off and meet other attendees. Brief remarks by organizers and prayer for those still sick and suffering. Tom Shanahan of Spirit. Now, this is the good part here. All of it's good, but this is the highlight. Tom Shanahan of Spiritual Adrenaline presents on integrating nutrition and exercise into an addiction recovery program, and then the bean bread sampling.
Bean bread.
Bean bread.
Yeah, you didn't say anything about walking around the block, man. I'm gonna have to come a little bit late, dude.
I know, right? I hate for you to walk 200 or 300 yards.
Chelsea, thank you so much for hanging out with us for a couple hours. I look forward to doing this again in the near future as we continue to grow and evolve and challenge ourselves to live a healthy lifestyle. I think you should. I want you to be a part of it because you're a badass.
Thank you. Both of you two are. Thank you for having me. It's been real fun.
Thank you for being on, Chelsea. We'll have to get you on again here soon.
Yeah.
Maybe we do a show with another nutritionist or something, and have
Battle Royale.
Yeah. We'll talk
Too
about
much pressure. Too much.
He loves to put the pressure on you when
I
when the
know.
camera's on.
Oh my gosh. At least wait till it's off.
When the
I know,
camera's
right?
on. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good afternoon. Good night. Stay safe out there. It's wet. Be safe. Love y'all.
Amazing.
You're
Bye.
amazing.